Good morning, students. So today we can deals with the bones of the hand. Okay. So here we can see different types of bones in your hand, and near to our wrist joint. See here we can see small pieces of bones. So they are known as carpal bones. Okay. So carpal bones. So they are seen near to our wrist joint. Okay. Carpal bones. So they are 8 in number. So carpal bones are 8 in number, and they are arranged in 2 rows. Okay. One proximal row is there and one distal row is there. Okay, so 8 bones, small bones, they are known as carpal bones. Okay, and next to the carpal bones, here we can see 5 bones, they are known as metacarpals. Okay, metacarpal bones. So they are example for the short long bones. They are miniature of the long bones. So they are 5 in number, metacarpals. Same like metacarpals, here we can see another bones, they are the phalanges. Okay, so 3 types of bones can be seen in the hand. One is carpal bones, metacarpals, then phalanges. Okay, so we will study each in detail. So this is the carpal bones. Okay, here we can see our radius and this is our ulna. Okay, so below the radius and ulna, here we can see these are the carpal bones. Okay, small bones. Okay, so we can see it is arranged in 2 rows. This is proximal row and this is the distal row. Okay, proximal row and distal row. Okay, so we can see each one. So this is the proximal row. So proximal row from this is the radial side, okay, or lateral side, from lateral to medial. Okay, so this is our scaphoid bone, this one. Okay, so this is scaphoid. Okay, and this bone, this is known as lunate bone, scaphoid, lunate. Okay, and the next bone, this is the triquetral, and this one is pisiform bone, pisiform. So 4 in one row. So this one is scaphoid, lunate, triquetral and pisiform, proximal row. Okay, the next row, this one is trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. This is the distal row. Okay, so 2 rows, scaphoid, lunate, triquetral, pisiform, then trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. Okay, so look at the scaphoid bone. Okay, scaphoid. So scaphoid is a board shaped bone, board shape. Okay, it's a board shaped bone and it has a tubercle. See here, has a tubercle on its lateral side. This is the tubercle of the scaphoid bone. Okay, scaphoid. So it's a board shaped bone, board shaped bone with a tubercle. So this is scaphoid. Okay, we can see it is articulating with our radius to form the wrist joint. Okay, and this one, this is the lunate bone, lunate. Okay, so it is a half moon shaped bone, half moon, or crescentic shape or half moon shaped bone. So this is lunate. Okay, next to lunate also we can see it articulates with the radius. So in the radius, that segment we had seen, inferior surface of the lower end articulates with the scaphoid and the lunate. Okay, so this is the lunate and scaphoid, they articulates to form the wrist joint here. Okay, and next is the triquetral. So this is the triquetral bone. It's actually a pyramidal shape bone, pyramidal shape bone. Okay, and it articulates with the, this is our pisiform bone, pisiform articulates with the pisiform. Okay, so pisiform, this is the smallest bone, pisiform bone. So this is the pisiform. So what is the peculiarity of this pisiform? Pisiform, it is an example for a sesamoid bone. Okay, pisiform bone is an example for a sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone means bones which are developing within the tendon of a muscle. Okay, so this is our pisiform bone. Okay, a sesamoid bone, pisiform. Okay, so this is the proximal row. So scaphoid, lunate, triquetral and pisiform. Okay, then next row, this is the trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. Okay, so this is the trapezium bone. Trapezium, the trapezium is a quadrangular bone, quadrangular shaped bone. Okay, quadrangular shaped bone, and it has a groove and a crest, has a groove and a crest. Okay, so this is trapezium, quadrangular shaped bone, trapezium. And next is trapezoid. It resembles the shoe of a baby, this one. So when we are taking it individually, so we can see it resembles the baby shoe, okay, shoe of a small baby. Okay, and this is trapezoid. Then this one is capitate, which is the largest bone, carpal bones, capitate. Okay, so largest carpal bones, it has a rounded head, with a rounded head, that is capitate. Okay, capitate bone. Then this one is hamate. Hamate is a wedge shaped bone, and hamate has a hook. A hook can be seen in this diagram, we can make out. So this is the hamate. Here we can see this, there is a hook like structure in the hamate bone, hook of hamate. This is known as hook of the hamate. So this is the capitate. Here we can see there is a rounded head, capitate. This is hamate. Hamate has a hook. This is actually projected upward, hook of the hamate, this one. Okay, so scaphoid, lunate, triquetral, pisiform, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. Okay, so these are the carpal bones. Okay, carpal bones. And there is a mnemonic which helps in remembering the order of this carpal bone. Okay, so she looks too pretty, try to catch her. Okay, so the first letter of each word, she. This is scaphoid, lunate, triquetral, pisiform. Okay, then trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. Okay, so from lateral to medial. Okay, so this order is from lateral to medial. So like this we can remember the order of the carpal bones. And in case of ossification or formation of the bone, carpal bones, the peculiarity of these carpal bones are they all develop after the birth. Okay, and so they all have developing from the secondary centers. So there is no primary center for this one. So all the centers appears after birth only. Here we see the year at which it is developing. So here we can see in case of scaphoid, this is the scaphoid. So this scaphoid is developed from at the 5th year. Okay, at the 5th year. This is lunate. Lunate appears at the 4th year, and this one is triquetral, which appears at 3rd year, and pisiform. You see the pisiform. Pisiform is developing only at the 12th year. 12th year. Okay. So that you have to keep in mind, pisiform, because it is developing within the tendon of a muscle. Okay, so at the 12th year only it will appear. And next row, see this one, this is our trapezium. Trapezium develops at 5th year. This is trapezoid, it also develops at 5th year. Then this is our capitate. Capitate, we can see it develops at the 2nd month. Okay, capitate. So capitate will be the first bone which starts ossification in case of carpal bones. Okay, so this is the capitate bone. So the center will appear at the 2nd month, and next to the capitate we can see this is the hamate bone. A hamate bone also we can see it is developing at the 3rd month. So first one is first is capitate, then hamate. Okay, 2nd month and 3rd month. So that's the development or ossification of the carpal bones. So applied anatomy, this is our scaphoid. So fracture always occurs in the scaphoid bone. Scaphoid bone fracture is quite common, and when it causes fracture, depends upon the nature of the fracture. Sometimes there will be non-union or avascular necrosis can be happened depend upon the feature of the fracture. Okay, so that is Clifford bone, and sometimes what will happen, this lunate will be dislocated into the wrist joint. Dislocation of the lunate will be seen, and in that case what will happen, there will be compression of the median nerve and causes carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay. So that is the applied aspect of the carpal. The next is metacarpal bones. Here we can see these are the carpal bones. So next to the carpal bones, here we can see five short miniature of long bones. Short long bones can be seen. So from lateral side, from thumb. Okay, so we have to count from the thumb side. So this is first metacarpal, second, third, fourth and fifth metacarpal bones. Okay, so 5 metacarpal bones are seen, and as it is a miniature of the long bone, it also has 3 parts. Okay. And here we can see there is a rounded head. There is a rounded head which is arranged distally, and there is a shaft and there is a base. Okay, head, shaft and base. Each metacarpal has a head, shaft and base. Okay, here we can see head is rounded. Okay, there is a rounded head which articulates with the phalanges. These are the phalanges bone, so they articulates with the phalanges bone. Okay, head. Okay, and here this is the shaft. The palmar surface of the shaft is concave, and this is the dorsal surface. Here we can see the dorsal surface is flat and it is triangular in shape. Triangular, flat and triangular in shape, dorsal surface. So this is the palmar surface. Palmar surface is concave. Okay, shaft concave, and there is a base which are irregularly expanded base which articulates with the carpal bones. So these are the metacarpals. So 5 in number, starting from the thumb side. Thumb. Okay, first, second, third, fourth and fifth. Okay, it has 3 parts: head, shaft and base. Okay, head is rounded and articulates with the phalanges, and shaft, it is concave anteriorly and convex posteriorly. Okay, not convex, flat and triangular in shape posteriorly, and there is an irregularly expanded base. Okay, so head, shaft and base. Okay, so they are the metacarpal bones, metacarpals. Again, ossification of this metacarpal bones. So metacarpal bones, all the primary centers appears at the 9th week of intrauterine life. Primary center appears at the 9th week of intrauterine life, and secondary centers, in case of second, third, fourth and fifth metacarpals, the secondary center appears at the second 1.5 to 2.5 years. Okay, 2.5 years secondary center will appear, and that will fuses with the shaft at the 15th to 19th year. 15th to 19th year. And in case of the thumb, okay, first metacarpal, the secondary center appears at the base. Okay, for the base, so that will appears at the second to the third year, and it fuses with the shaft at 15th to 17th year. 15th to 17th year. So that is the ossification of metacarpals. In case of applied aspect, you can see this is the first metacarpal bone. So usually there will be a fracture of at the base of the first metacarpal bone. Base of the first metacarpal bone, and this fracture is known as Bennett's fracture. Bennett's fracture. And in this case, what will happen? The thumb is forced into a semi-flexed, half-flexed position and cannot be opposed, or opposition movement cannot be done. Okay. So that is the fracture of the first metacarpal, and the other metacarpal also get fractured by direct or indirect violence. So that is the applied aspect, Bennett's fracture. So then comes the phalanges. Here we can see these are the metacarpal bones, and next to the metacarpals, here we can see the phalanges. Okay, so there are total 14 phalanges in each hand. Okay, 14. So in the case of thumb there are only 2 phalanges, but in all the other fingers we have 3 phalanges each. Okay, so total 14 phalanges can be seen. So here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. Okay, so 14 phalanges can be seen in each hand. Okay, and same like our metacarpals, this phalanges also is an example for a short long bone or miniature long bones. They also have a base. This is the base. They have a shaft and there is a head. Okay, so head, shaft and base is there for each phalanges. Okay, each phalanges has a base, shaft and a head. Okay, so 14 phalanges, 2 for the thumb finger and all the other have 3 phalanges. Okay, so it is the, and in case of ossification of the phalanges, there will be primary centers and the secondary center. So the primary center for the distal phalanx, this is the distal phalanx. So the primary center for the distal phalanx will appear at the 8th week, and for the proximal phalanx this appears at the 10th week, and for the middle phalanx appears at the 12th week. So 8th week, 10th week and 12th week primary centers. Okay, and in case of secondary centers for the base of all the phalanges, secondary centers, the base will appear at the 2nd to 4th year, 2 to 4 year, and fuses with the shaft at 15 to 18th year. Okay, so the primary center for the proximal phalanx appears at the 8th week. Distal phalanx appears at the 8th week, proximal phalanx appears at the 10th week, and middle phalanx appears at the 12th week. That means 12th week. Okay, then for the secondary center, so secondary center as a common, it appears for the base. Okay, for the base of all the phalanges, the secondary centers will appear at 2nd to the 4th year, and it fuses with the shaft at the 15th to 18th year. Okay, so that is the ossification of phalanges. Okay. So in case of applied anatomy, most commonly the distal phalanx of the middle finger will get fractured. Okay, middle finger, the fracture for the distal phalanx of the middle finger is most common. Okay. So these are the normal bones which we can see in our hand. In addition to these bones, here we can see some additional small pieces of bones can be seen. So you can make out in this picture. So these are the additional bones. So these are sesamoid bones. Okay, sesamoid bone means the bones are formed within the tendon of a muscle. Okay, so in case of hand we can see this is our first metacarpal. So near to the head of the first metacarpal, here we can see 2 sesamoid bones. Okay, here also this is the second metacarpal bone. Here also we can see one more sesamoid bones. Okay, so 2 small pieces of bones can be seen, small, not pieces, small nodules. Okay, nodules of bones can be seen within the skeleton of our hand. Okay, so they are the sesamoid bones, sesamoid. So while taking the X-ray also we can identify these small pieces bones in addition to the normal bones. Okay, so they are the sesamoid bones. Okay, so don't get confused with the fracture or an additional growth with this normal structure. Okay, so these are the sesamoid bones actually. Okay, sesamoid means bones which are developed within the tendon of a muscle. Okay, so that is the sesamoid bones. So that's all about the skeleton of a hand. Okay, so these are the features in the skeleton of hand. That means carpal bones, metacarpals and phalanges. So go through the video. Thank you.